Hello and welcome to HP Gaming Garage. I am Professor Raja Ravichandra Prasad, Game Director at Artemisia College of Art and Design. The 13th module of game programming is Asset Creation for Games. Creating characters and props for games or animations requires a thorough and meticulous design process to ensure that the final product is of high quality and is functional. For this purpose, it is recommended to follow a general design process while creating characters and props using Autodesk Maya. To explain this in detail, I have Shreyans, an AS game developer, who will walk you through the module.
Thank you, Professor. Hello everyone, I am Shreyans and we will be discussing the module Asset Creation for Games curated by Professor Raja. Let's have a look at the essential steps involved in the design process, enabling the developer to develop high quality and functional characters and props that meet the desired standard. The concept design process is an essential step that lays the groundwork for a successful project. Before one can dive into modeling, take the time to visualize what you want for your character or prop to look like. The game developer can create a concept sketch or gather visual references to do this. A concept sketch is an excellent way to flesh out ideas and see how different elements work together. They can use traditional media like pencil and paper or digital tools like Photoshop. Alternatively, one can collect visual references from various resources such as images from the internet, movies or books. This will give the developer an idea of different styles, proportions and details they can use in your design. The concept design phase is a critical step in the character and prop making process. By taking the time to visualize the ideas, one can ensure that your final product meets your vision and expectations. When creating characters and props for games or animations, accuracy is key. In order to achieve this, it's important to have reference images that provide a clear idea of what the final product should look like. These reference images can be gathered from a variety of sources or can be created from scratch. By having reference images for multiple angles, the modeling process becomes much easier and the end result will be a more accurate representation of the desired character or prop. Reference images can be used as a guide for proportions, detailing and even color choices. Investing time in finding or creating high quality reference images will ultimately lead to a better final product that meets the desired standards. Creating a new project in Maya is crucial for organizing your work and keeping all necessary files in one place during the character and prop design process. Starting a new project in Maya provides you with a clean slate to create and store 3D models, textures and other assets. To begin a new project in Maya, select File from the menu and choose New Project to open the New Project window. Here, you can name your project and select a location to save your files. It's essential to set the project directory as this helps Maya locate your files and prevents confusion or frustration later on. Remember to set up your project directory at the beginning of your project to ensure all your files are stored in the right place. Importing reference images into Maya is a crucial step in the character and prop design process. Reference images are helpful in guiding the modeling process as they provide a clear visual representation of what the final product should look like. When importing reference images into Maya, it's important to ensure that they are placed in the correct positions so that they can be easily referenced during the modeling process. By importing reference images, you can make sure that your final product is accurate and meets your design specifications. This step is especially important for complex designs where accuracy is crucial to the success of the project. So don't skip the step of importing reference images into Maya and make sure that they are properly positioned to guide your modeling process. To create a model in Autodesk Maya, the developer will need to start with a polygon plane as the base for the model. This plane will act as a canvas where one can begin to mold and shape your model. The developer can create a polygon plane by selecting Create from the menu bar, then choosing Polygon Primitives and Plane. A new plane will appear in the workspace and you can adjust its size and shape using the manipulator tools. It's important to ensure that the size and proportions of the polygon plane are correct and match your reference images, as this will make the modeling process much smoother. By starting with a polygon plane, one can begin to build up your model with greater accuracy and precision. This step involves using the polygon modeling tools available in Autodesk Maya to create the basic shapes of the character or prop. It's important to note that this is not the final model, but rather a rough approximation of the final form. This is often referred to as blocking in the model. By blocking in the model, the developer can quickly establish the overall proportions and shapes of the character or prop, allowing the developer to make adjustments early in the process. This can save time later on, as it's much easier to make changes at this stage than it is when you have already invested a lot of time in creating a detailed model. In order to block out the shapes of the model, you will need to use the combination of tools such as the extrude, bevel and cut tools. These tools allow the developer to create the basic shapes and forms that will eventually be refined into the final model. Once the developer has blocked out the basic shapes of the character or prop, the next step is to define these shapes. This is where they will start to add more detail and personality to your model. The refining shapes involves using additional polygon modeling tools such as extrude, bevel and cut faces. Extrude can be used to pull out faces and edges to create new shapes and features on your model. Bevel can be used to add rounded edges and smooth hard out edges. Cut faces can help to add intricate details and create more complex shapes. Once the developer has refined the basic shapes of the model, it's time to add finer details to bring your character or prop to life. Adding details is what transforms a blocky model into a polished and realistic one. To add details to your model, one can use a variety of tools such as sculpting brushes, texture painting, or simply manipulating polygons. It's important to remember that the details you add should serve a purpose and enhance the overall design. For example, wrinkles on clothing can help convey the fabric's texture and how it folds and drapes on the character's body. Another example is adding buttons or zippers to a character's clothing, which can add both visual interest and functionality to the design. Be sure to consider the scale and proportion of the details, which is added to ensure that they fit with the right overall design of the character or prop. UV mapping is a critical step in the character and prop design process, as it lays the foundation for texturing the model. Without proper UV mapping, textures may appear distorted and stretched, which can compromise the final quality of the product. Maya provides a variety of UV mapping tools that allows for precise control the layout of the model's surface. By using these tools, you can ensure that the model's texture appears as intended. UV mapping may seem intimidating at first, but with practice, it becomes an intuitive part of the design process. Texturing is an important step in the process of creating a realistic and visually appealing character or prop. To create textures, the developer will need to use image editing software like Photoshop, which allows us to add color, patterns, and details to our model. Once the textures have been created, we can apply them to our model using Maya's texturing tools. Maya offers a wide range of texturing tools that allows us to add textures to specific areas of our model and adjust the intensity, scale, and placement of the texture. These tools helps us achieve a realistic and detailed look that brings our character or prop to life. By creating high quality textures and applying them correctly, we can enhance the visual quality of our models, making them look more polished and professional. Texturing is an essential step in the character and prop design process, and with the right tools and techniques, we can create stunning, realistic textures that breathe life into our models. Lighting is a crucial step in creating a visually stunning scene that captures the attention of the audience. In Maya, the developer will have the tools at their fingertips to bring the models to life with realistic lighting effects. The process starts with creating a lighting setup that complements your character or prop. With Maya's lighting tools, one can adjust the intensity, color, and placement of lights in the scene. By experimenting with different lighting setups, one can create different moods and atmospheres from bright and cheerful to dark and moody. Once you have set the lights up, it's time to fine-tune the lighting effects. With Maya's lighting controls, the developer can adjust shadows, specular highlights, and other lighting parameters to achieve the desired effect. By paying attention to these details, one can take your models from ordinary to extraordinary. Rendering is the final step in the character and prop design process. It involves creating the final image or animation of the model that you have created in Maya. Maya provides a range of rendering tools that can be used to produce high quality images and animations. These tools can be used to adjust lighting, apply shaders, and add effects to the final output. With Maya's rendering tools, you can create photorealistic images that are visually stunning. When rendering a scene in Maya, it is important to ensure that all the necessary settings are in place. These settings include the resolution of the image, the frame rate of the animation, and the format of the output file. Maya's rendering tools make it easy to adjust these settings and customize the final output to meet your specific needs. Rendering can be a time-consuming process, but with Maya's powerful rendering tools, you can produce high-quality images and animations in a relatively short amount of time. Exporting the final model is the last step in the character and prop design process, but it's also one of the most important. This is because the model needs to be exported in a suitable format for use in a game engine. Without proper export settings, your model may not function as expected in the game or animation. Maya provides a range of export options for different types of models, including static and rigged models. You can choose to export in the formats such as FBX or OBJ, which are widely supported in game engines. To export your model, you need to select File from the menu and choose Export. This will open up the export window where you can choose the export format and set any additional export options. It's important to make sure that you choose the correct settings for your model to ensure that it works properly in the game engine. Exporting your model in the correct format is essential for ensuring that your hard work pays off. Let's have a recap of what we have discussed. Before starting the modeling process, it's important to have a clear idea of what the character or prop should look like. Create a concept sketch or gather visual references to help guide the design process. Find or create reference images for the character or prop from multiple angles. This will help ensure accuracy during the modeling process. Start a new project in Maya and set the project directory. Import the reference images into Maya and place them in the correct positions to help guide the modeling process. Create a polygon plane to use as the base for the model. Use the polygon modeling tools to block out the basic shapes of the character or prop. This is often referred to as blocking in the model. Refine the shapes of the model using additional polygon modeling tools such as extrude, bevel, and cut faces. Add finer details to the models such as wrinkles, seams, or buttons. UV mapping is the process of creating a 2D layout of the model surface to prepare it for texturing. Use Maya's UV mapping tools to create the UV layout. Create textures in an image editing software such as Adobe Photoshop and then apply them to the model using Maya's texturing tools. Create a lighting setup for the scene to enhance the visual quality of the model. Use Maya's lighting tools to adjust the intensity, color, and placement of lights in the scene. Use Maya's rendering tools to create the final image or animation of character or prop. Export the final model in a suitable format for use in a game engine or other software.
Thank you, Shriyam, for the detailed walkthrough of the module. With this, we have come to the end of the module and I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for your HP Learning Assessment so that you can be certified and start your career in game development. Thank you for joining us.